Here are 5 words every RV enthusiast should know: advocacy, community, education, resources, rewards. That's what the RV Advisor was built on, along with protecting your rights. Visit thervadvisor.com.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander, and look who it is. It's our old friend. It is Traveling Robert. Hey, Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Tom. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on again, because I think this is your third appearance on the show. First time, we go back all the way close to the beginning, because the first time that you were on, it was audio only. We didn't even have a video component to the show. And then last time we did get to see you in your studio there. I see the keyboard off to your right, and working on some music, as you always are. And you'd find him, by the way, at Robert Morales. That's his last name, Robert Morales. And is it just what's the website to find your music stuff?
Well, everything is the main site is Traveling Robert, and in Traveling Robert, you can even listen to all the music there. And then there's a link if you want to buy it or listen in Spotify or whatever you listen to. That's cool. And I still sell physical CDs and CDs, and a lot of people still buy them. So I sell those too. Yeah,
I got to get into it. I just released a recording just right before Christmas, and it's digital only. And I was thinking, maybe I need to start printing a few more some CDs again, because people do buy them still.
They still do buy
especially
them.
In our age, our general age bracket.
Yeah,
they're more used to buying CDs, right?
Yeah.
But so the main thing though is, you're not only for your music, but you're known for, as the name implies, traveling Robert. You've been all over the place.
Fun fact, I've been a musician a lot longer than I've been like a video creator or a traveler.
Yeah,
but it was through my YouTube channel that actually the music took off. So it's that kind of strange things that you never know what's gonna resonate with people. So
yeah, you just don't know. You can't predict it. You do all these studies and you think, I'm going to do this, and this, and it'll work. And then then something will just pop and it'll resonate with people. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to, and it completely unpredictable, and it's unforeseen.
Yeah.
But look where you are now. And you are one of the real stars of the RV world, the traveling RV world. A lot of people know you and follow you. And YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that happened. All of a sudden, from it seems like from one day to the next, I show up at the Tampa RV show and everybody knows who I am. And I'm like, when did this happen? And this, well, it's good that that eventually you see the fruits of your labor. But it's great. I mean, I'm not complaining.
It is amazing. And are you going to the Tampa show this year?
Yeah, it's kind of like an annual tradition, pilgrimage, if you will. And this year I'm going again. Next year I might not go, just because I want to go to Arizona early and not have to rush out there. So, but this year I'm definitely going. Yes, we have a lot of things planned.
Excellent. So there you go. The Tampa RV show is one of, if not, I think it is actually the biggest RV show in the country.
You know what happens? Hershey owns the trademark. Hershey owns the trademark, America's largest RV show. But I do believe Tampa is a little larger.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
It's the one to go. If you're in the market, if someone is in the market to buy an RV, this is the one to go, because you're almost guaranteed to find every floor plan. Almost every manufacturer is going to be there.
Yeah, and you'll be there too. Traveling Robert Morales will be there. You got to check it out. Stop by and say hello. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what, Robert, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, find out where you've gone, where you're going, and all that good stuff from the road in just a moment.
Absolutely.
My guest is Traveling Robert. I'm Tom Alexander. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. Back in just a moment.
Watch Just Ask Gigi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. It posts every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on our Facebook page.
We're back on the RV Advisor podcast. Tom Alexander with you. And of course, our guest is Traveling Robert Morales. And Robert, I'll tell you, you've earned that name, Traveling Robert, because you do get around. This fall, you were up in New England and experiencing, for I guess one of the only times in your life, really, seeing all that fall foliage, that beautiful display of fiery colors, right?
Yeah, I've seen it before. I had seen it in the Smoky Mountains and a little bit in Maine, but nothing compares to Vermont when it comes to that. I think, and coincidentally, Vermont was my last state of the lower 48, the one I had never actually set foot on.
No
so I now completed the lower 48. I only have Hawaii to go.
And so you've been to Alaska.
Yeah, I've been to Alaska. I haven't driven to Alaska, but before RV many years ago, we flew to Fairbanks.
So just Hawaii. Well, you've got me beat by a mile. I've only got 27 states in. I got more work to do. But that is fantastic. And it is beautiful up there. I've been to New England in the fall, and it is spectacular.
We spent a good. While it was peaking, the colors were peaking. We spent 2 or 3 weeks in Vermont and New Hampshire, which was another state. I had driven through New Hampshire on I-95, but if you've been there, that's like 10 miles. So this time I got to experience Mount Washington, which is the tallest mountain in the Northeast, and we did both. We did the Cog Railway, and we also drove up just to since we're probably not going to be there in a while, figured might as well do both experiences, driving up there and taking the
excellent
railway.
Wow, that's terrific.
And we had good weather, which is rare up there.
That time of year can be tricky, so I'm glad that the weather cooperated.
Mount Washington is supposed to have like the worst weather in the whole United States. It's cloudy like 95% of the time and windy, and we got 2 consecutive clear days. So I was pleasantly surprised. We were lucky for sure.
Well, it's funny you say that, because it was, this is going back to my radio days when I was CBS, and we went on a radio tour up to Maine in the dead of winter. It was January. We went up to a place called Sugarloaf. It was a ski resort. We went up on the mountain there. And about halfway, we took one of those snowcats like you see in The Shining. We took the snowcat up the mountain, and about halfway up, we got hit with a blizzard, and you just got snowed in there, and it was unbelievable. And I never experienced. I grew up in the Poconos, where we had our share of snow in Pennsylvania, but nothing like. I'd never seen anything like that, a blizzard like that. It was unbelievable. So it's probably just touching the surface of what you get on Mount Washington.
Hey, I was born in the Caribbean, and I've lived in Florida all my life. So to me, snow is something that I like to see for a couple of days and then go someplace else.
I'm with you, my man.
Not used to it.
I'm with you. I get it 100%. 32 years was enough for me. I've said that 1,000 times on this show. You've got plans, as you always do. You've got plans, and this one is extraordinary because it follows a historic route. So why don't you share with us?
Ever since I started doing this full time, I plan at least one long trip a year, and I usually try to make it a cross country trip, because I don't know if you know, but I love the West. I mean, the East is beautiful. There's beauty everywhere. But once you get out there, the Rockies and past the Rockies, there's nothing like it. But this trip I'm planning since, my mom tells me, what are you going back to Arizona for? You've been everywhere. And of course, I haven't been everywhere. But this time I decided to give the trip a theme. And I'm going to start doing this probably every year or every other year, do a historical themed trip. And this time around, I want to follow in the footsteps of Lewis and Clark. So, we're going to begin probably in Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh, or where they met, which is near Louisville, Kentucky, and then follow the Missouri River more. We're going to drive, of course, but follow the Missouri River all the way to the Rockies, and then find the Columbia River, and then, follow it all the way to the Pacific, to Oregon, and then do the Oregon coast. But yeah, that's kind of the trip in a nutshell. But we're gonna do a lot of. We're gonna take a couple of detours too from the route. Because if we're gonna be in South Dakota, might as well go to the Badlands and see Mount Rushmore again. If we're gonna, things like that.
Yeah, why not? Man, that sounds great. So following the Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, and it's a story that I mean, everybody learned that as a kid, and I didn't because I grew up in a different country. But it's one of those such an epic journey in a sense, especially back then. We're talking the 1803. We didn't even have a photography, telegraph, nothing. They were really truly on their own out there. And that's an interesting story, and they basically
we can't conceive of that. It's hard to conceive of that today, given all our modes of transportation and communication. It's just I mean, the first real thing that really broke ground for us was we had the railways and of course railroad, and then of course you had the telegraph.
Yeah.
Or in the 1800s, and that really started things, but before any of that was developed, it was
nothing moved faster than a horse. Nothing would.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Pony Express. I mean, it was really something. The frontier era, incredible, and not only in this country, but other places around the world. It had those same challenges, and but this country's so huge. That to, imagine now it's like, I mean, I talk to people all over the world on this thing, on Zoom, and it's instant, we're having a moment. It's incredible. Anyway.
I can only imagine where we're going to be in 10, 20, 50 years, technology wise.
Yeah. I think about, I talked to my son, and he's 24 years old, and I said, man, by the time you're my age, I don't, who knows what's going to, maybe you'll be beaming over to countries like they did in Star Trek,
Can you believe those people in the 2020s were talking on Zoom? Now we have holographs and all this things.
Yeah, exactly. No, those guys were primitive back then, in the 2020s, Anyway, well, listen, I that trip sounds like a blast. I wish I could ride along with you, but you know what? I'll tell you what. We need to get you on the show again while you're on the way, somewhere along the Lewis.
Absolutely.
And Clark
Now this is a fun part too. This is the planning portion of the trip, and I even bought books, because I kind of like to study history, and it's a very interesting part of the planning of the trip. Now the second part is doing it and making a documentary out of it.
Well, listen, let's get you on somewhere along the trail. Let's make sure that we do that and talk to you from the place of your choice. Maybe it's the Badlands, maybe it's somewhere along the Missouri River, somewhere.
As long as there's internet, we can do it.
We'll do it. We'll get you back on and see what's going on in the world of traveling Robert Morales. Right. And tell folks where they can find you. What are the best places to travel?
The main place is travelingrobert.com. That's my website, and we're constantly improving it. But my content mostly lives in YouTube. So just search Traveling Robert on YouTube, and that's me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go. Our third visit, but not our last, from Traveling Robert Morales. Robert, thank you so much for taking time out to join us. I know last time we had a little bit of a communication snafu, but we worked it out, and here we are talking.
Absolutely.
Again.
Thank you for having me, Tom. It's my pleasure being here.
Always great to talk to you, my friend. We are going to take a quick break and wrap things up on the other side. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. Stay tuned.
Watch Just Ask Gigi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. It posts every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on our Facebook page.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Of course, I am joined by Neve Carey Zacco. Hey, Neve, how are you?
Good, Tom. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well. I know that we've been lining up some guests for 2022. We've kicked off the year with some good ones and more to come. I know you're working around the clock to get line up some great folks for the show.
Absolutely. It's been fun. We have some really, really fun guests coming on in the next few weeks. So it's been really nice to see some new faces and hear from some new people.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're starting to get into with the winter months here, a lot of people are thinking the Southland. And in particular, one of the biggest shows, RV shows on the whole planet, comes later this month. It's of course the Tampa Super Show.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Sure
we're gonna try to have some level of presence over there and see what the heck's just going on. I know a lot.
Yeah, we absolutely will. We'll probably go with a camper, get a site. So yeah, for anyone listening or watching, if you see an RV Advisor sign, please pop by and say hello.
There you go. All right. So that'll be something to do. And if you yourself want to get on the RV Advisor podcast, Neve is the point person, as she is our guest coordinator. Why don't you give them your email?
ncarey@thervadvisor.com, or you can get me on any of our social media platforms. Just shoot a comment or a DM and I will get right back to you.
Wonderful. There you go, folks. ncarey@thervadvisor.com. and all the other stuff she just said. So there you go. Neve, thanks so much for joining us. And
thank you.
We'll see you again on Friday.
Yep.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.